Well, hello and welcome to Flint Hills Briar. I'm Gareth. It's early March and the weather's pretty nice. It's not overly warm, but it's definitely warm enough. I think it's supposed to hit around 60 Fahrenheit today. So I felt like coming out and at least spending some time outdoors. Kind of had originally wanted to go on an overnight camping trip this weekend, but wasn't so sure about the weather, and here in a couple more weekends I'm definitely going to go out camping in one of my favorite springtime camping spots in the Flint Hills of Kansas. But I thought I would, I'm smoking some Three Nuns in my Savinelli 673 Roma Lucite. Yeah, my Friday Savinelli. I actually bought this pipe less than a month before I got my own Matches 860 Memorial pipe. I haven't smoked that one. I don't know if I want to or not, but it's kind of interesting how that worked out, but I got my hands on one. And I've really been enjoying Three Nuns. I don't know if there seems to be debate as to whether or not it's Virginia with Perique or if it's Virginia with dark-fired Kentucky. I've kind of heard both. All I know is there's something about it that I really like. There's a essence, a smell to it that reminds me of a particular place and time of about 20 years ago. So anyway, I really like this stuff. I know it's supposedly one of C.S. Lewis's favorite pipe tobaccos, although it sounds like the blend has changed over the years. Like maybe it used to be a Virginia Perique, but now it's Virginia dark-fired Kentucky. But I don't know. I might actually like it better what it is now than what it used to be. I figured I'd tell the story of Woody in this video, and how Woody relates to my journey into the pipe world. Now, back in the mid-90s, when I was a teenager, I had a part-time job working at Burger King, and there was a guy who oftentimes, kind of like the early afternoon, would come through the drive-thru at Burger King where I worked. He drove a Suburban. He had a big mustache, if I remember right, and oftentimes he was smoking a pipe, and everybody loved the way his pipe smoke smelled. It had a really good, I think, cherry scent to it, but everybody loved it. It was kind of a treat when he would come through the drive-thru, because some of that wonderful pipe smoke scent would come through the little drive-thru door window. At the time I didn't know his name. I just knew he was that guy that drove the Suburban that smoked the pipe that smelled so good. But years later, and I'm talking like that was the mid-90s, fast forward to like 2007, it was after this was a period in time where I was getting ready to go back to school. I'd already been through college once, got a psychology degree, had spent some time with a Franciscan order, which I'm sure be a good topic for a future video. But anyway, after the whole religious life, priesthood, Franciscan thing, I decided that I needed to pursue a different path in life than that. I was going back to school to get into radiology, and I had a part-time job at a grocery store. And this was the same town that the Burger King was in. And there was a guy that worked at the grocery store. His name was Woody, and lo and behold, he was the guy with the pipe from, back in the Burger King days. And I never asked him about the pipe. I don't know why not, but never said anything about it. But Woody, he was a pretty congenial, jolly sort of guy, great guy. But anyway, so that's how I knew his name was Woody. And I went through, I only worked at that store, that grocery store, for less than a year before I went to a different town, to the university where I went to X-ray school at. And while I was at that college, one day I kind of, somehow the thought came into my head, maybe I should, I knew that well, while I was at this college in X-ray school, at some point in time, I knew that Walgreens sold some pipes and some pipe tobacco. So I got the idea occurred to me, well, maybe I should go get a pipe, as long as it didn't cost too much, and get some pipe tobacco. Because I somehow thought that, well, I could probably find whatever it is Woody used to smoke that smelled so good. Because the idea of, smoking some pipe tobacco that had that good smell, like I assumed it probably had good flavor, appealed to me. I smoked some cigars here and there, and I enjoyed those. So I went down to Walgreens, got a pipe, like a Dr. Grabo, probably like a straight billiard or something. And I got some sort of pipe tobacco. I can't remember what. It was probably like Great Value Cherry or something. Could have been Velvet. And I'm thinking like, well, maybe this is the stuff. And I went back to the dorm where I was living at the time, and I packed the bowl and I went out on a little walk, a little lunt, I guess, with my pipe, and I lit that thing, and I had no clue what I was doing. I'm sure I was puffing way too hard and fast on that thing. First thing that occurred to me was that tobacco did not smell like Woody's really great cherry aromatic or whatever it was he used to smoke. And also, I very quickly just burned the living crap out of right in the center of my tongue. It was not pleasant, to say the least bit. And honestly, I don't know how many pipe bowls I went through with that pipe. I doubt it was more than like 2 or 3, and I pretty much was done with that thing. Unfortunately, I'm sure I just tossed the pipe. That, and I didn't realize that after you smoke it, and it kind of stinks while it's damp, but once it dries out, it smells better. But I had this like stinky pipe in my small dorm room, and anyway, that was a big time failure. It's kind of hard to keep a pipe lit and talk so much. But fast forward a bit, a few years later, I'm now through X-ray school. I'm living in this small town, far southwest Kansas, and working my first X-ray job. And somehow I get the idea that, maybe I should get a pipe again, and I'll try some different pipe tobacco. And maybe I had seen Velvet. I think this is when I got the Velvet, because I think I had seen it before, and it just, I don't know, it looked like, maybe that's the stuff. I don't know what made me think that, but I also, you know, the only pipe tobacco blends I ever was aware of were ones that you would see at like Walgreens or maybe back in like the little, you know, tobacco corral things at the grocery store or whatever. Not a great selection, obviously, and they're all like OTC type stuff, codger blends and the like. So in this town, I had to drive like a half hour to the bigger town, city-ish place where I'd go shopping like Walmart and the Kroger store and that sort of thing. So I go to the Walgreens there, get another pipe, probably another Dr. Grabo, like straight billiard. And I think that's when I got some velvet. Thinking, yeah, surely this is the stuff. And of course, it wasn't. And I think I pretty much did the same thing all over again, just, you know, burnt the crap out of my tongue, gave it up very quickly, and probably tossed the pipe, unfortunately. As big of a crime as that is, just to toss a pipe. So that was my early introduction into, or my early foray into pipe smoking. And at that point in time, as far as I was concerned, I'd pretty much decided the only thing worth smoking was a half decent cigar. And that's where things stayed for, oh, I don't know, 12 years or so before last fall. But that was the early foray. But I think that's enough story for one video, so I'll call it to a close. And thank you very much for watching. Thanks for joining me with a pipe in this really wonderful early spring day, because it's, you know, meteorological spring, as they say, but not astrological spring. You know, we're still a good 3 or so weeks away from the equinox. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks for watching. This is Gareth with Flint Hills Briar. I'll see you next time.